Hey guys, Michael MGF here. I'm going to do another 2009 review on the LEGO Star Wars Ahsoka's Starfighter and Vulture Droid. It has 291 pieces, number 7751. LEGO Star Wars, blah 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 blah.
Wow, happy Thanksgiving! This is it. This is the week, the vlog, live action, Ahsoka Tano. Welcome back, guys. So for the first review this week, the first video I'm doing, I've got the Minifig Madness Robert Pattinson Batman version 2, and this is kind of a tough review for me because I really do like the minifigure, and the value really isn't too bad either. It's just unfortunately the cowl on it is really wonky, and you can kind of see it there, how it's like half the size it should be, and they used a fleshy head instead of printing onto a black one like they did with the first version here, and so yeah, it's a little bit tough, but I'm still enjoying making the video regardless. So this is gonna be the first video this week, and then I'm thinking about working on the next tutorial. Alright, tonight is the night. Ahsoka Tano, now portrayed by Rosario Dawson, is about to make her live-action debut in about an hour. We are basically about to enter the final hour for Ahsoka Tano being exclusively a live-action character since that movie came out on August 1st, 2008, and I literally cleared my workspace for this and then brought in my TV, ripped it out of the wall out there, and put it here. I just finished watching The Siege of Mandalore with my buddy Tate again, and oh my god, it is just amazing. That alone is always enough to completely hype me up, and it's just a joy just watching Siege of Mandalore. But I've got the camera on the main tripod for this, since normally I would put it on my mini tripod on the corner of the table there, so it's all set up, and I'm going to finalize that shot for the reaction video here soon. And then I was also doing this earlier today, my Thanksgiving photo for 2020. I didn't do one last year because I had a really bad year and wasn't really too interested in celebrating any of the holidays, to be honest, but regardless, here I've got so much going on, taking place on Mandalore, of course, for the year of the final end and conclusion to Star Wars: The Clone Wars, as I just mentioned with the Siege of Mandalore. And so you can see Baby Yoda is after Maul's Chicky Nuggies. We've got Obi-Wan hopefully offering a cookie so that he'll stop. And then we've also got Ahsoka over here with Morai, who is very disturbed by the sight before her. And then also, of course, Chadwick Boseman over here at the edge of the table, the King Black Panther with the Shuri knockoff minifigure, my Okoye minifigure with a different version of the head that's actually a knockoff head as well, and then also the Smart Hulk and Thor minifigures that I'm working on in the back of the shot here. And you got Cobb Vanth and Boba also kind of duking it out there, and I don't know if they're having a conversation or if Boba is about to spring into action. I guess that is open to interpretation, but it's always really fun doing these, and it's been really nice to do a Thanksgiving photo again. And so I put this up today, and this was the final result of the photo. I think it turned out looking really good. But then last night I did complete my Ahsoka Legacy tribute. This was something that I worked on for pretty much the majority of the day on Tuesday. So last Tuesday for you, almost a week ago now, I think, which is kind of nuts. Or that would have been, Wednesday, actually, Wednesday. So almost a week ago for you guys. But regardless, this was something that I thought of like about a week before that. You know, just the idea of a legacy shot kind of sequencing Ahsoka's most pivotal moments throughout her journey since the Clone Wars began in 2008 all the way up until she is about to appear in The Mandalorian Season 2. And I love how this turned out. I think between my Force Ghosts battle edit that I did at the start of the year, or my Avengers Infinity War poster design. This is like up there, I think, in my top 3 or my top 5 for my favorite edits I have ever done. So yeah, glad I got to show you guys that. And one last thing that I did do was the 5th tutorial episode, how to prepare minifigure legs for painting, basically how to sand them the correct way, whether that is on the thighs like I do it or on the hips. And that video turned out really well. Managed to put it together fairly properly as well, which was really good. So I got that up, I got the Thanksgiving photo done, I got the Ahsoka edit up, and just kind of everything in preparation for tonight, so that in case I die, in case I am deceased within the next hour, it will be okay, because I got a fairly healthy amount of content up before my demise. So now I guess this is the part where I cut to seeing my second favorite character of all time in anything ever, the character that I grew up with and so many others grew up with since I was 9 years old in 2008, Ahsoka Tano in live action. Okay, so my final thoughts on Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka Tano. It's been 3 days now, and after having rewatched the episode multiple times, after starting to gather most of the reference for the custom minifigure that I'm working on right now, it is officially the Monday after, and the embargo has lifted, so everyone is openly and freely talking about Ahsoka, even though it was never really a spoiler that Ahsoka was going to be in season 2, especially for the last couple of weeks prior, when Mando was deliberately going to Corvus to meet her. But now we got this. The character poster that we were all anticipating of Rosario Dawson's Ahsoka, and it's amazing. You've got clones in the background there on the walls. I think this is just a phenomenal poster. It's so exciting to finally see this. And also there's going to be new standees going up on advanced graphics. I also have a Bo-Katan that I still have to get as well, so that'll be pretty cool. Live action Clone Wars characters as official freaking cardboard cutouts. So, of course, Rosario Dawson's performance was amazing. It has since been revealed in the new Vanity Fair article that came out for this that she has in fact seen all of the Clone Wars, and you know, they also addressed the look of Ahsoka, you know, how they approach the skin tone, but more importantly the montrals and the leku. And if you guys don't know the difference, the montrals are the horns up top, and then the leku are the tendrils that hang down. And so a lot of people confuse those terms, but essentially they had to make the montrals and the leku shorter for Ahsoka live action, simply because they needed to be more practical. Not only did Dave not want those to get in the way of her performance, but also they didn't want them to get in the way of stunts, right? And so while, of course, myself as a huge Star Wars canon buff and someone who, of course, knows the continuity like the back of my hand, I agree that if they needed to be shorter in this case, I think it's okay to take this one liberty. Maybe if you want to work this decision into canon, you could say that not all Togrutas age the same way. Not all of them have the exact same length of, like, with their montrals and leku by the end of their life. I mean, you don't really know. Maybe Shakti was an exaggerated example. Ultimately, the actress who portrayed Shakti certainly wouldn't have been able to do any crazy stunts in that giant headdress piece that they used for the prequels. But the point here is, the way I've always seen the Clone Wars and Rebels and animated Star Wars is that it's like you're looking at a drawing, right? Because when you then translate that onto the screen, onto live action, it's like, I would argue that Captain Rex and the clones, they don't really look a lot like Tamira Morrison in the Clone Wars. They just don't. Anakin certainly doesn't look a whole lot like Hayden Christensen. I would say really only Obi-Wan wound up actually looking almost kind of one-to-one with Ewan McGregor. And I know that's an unpopular opinion, especially coming from a huge Clone Wars fan, but that's always kind of something that I accepted. I mean, there are differences in the clone armor. There are differences in things visually in the animated style that are deliberate differences that are simply just not the same in the movies. And so I always look at the animated styles, and this is how I've always looked at it, is it's like looking at a drawing, right? You can look at something 2D on paper, but ultimately what you draw is totally subject to, you know, how you draw it, to your hand, to the tools that you use, to the programs that you use. But then when you're looking at something in real life, you know, it's good to have a distinction between what real life looks like and then what the animated world looks like. And that's kind of always the distinction that I've personally made since I was a kid. It's something that I've always readily accepted. I mean, you look at Yoda or Count Dooku, or, you know, I mean, even like Padme. There are some whack character models in the Clone Wars, and those distinctions have always been made, that it's like, if those things were carried over, it's like then you'd have people looking real weird. And I don't know if you guys will agree. I know that might be an unpopular opinion to have, but that's why the shorter head tails don't necessarily bother me. Now, of course, yes, would I have preferred them to be longer? Obviously. But do I care? Am I going to raise hell over it? No, because Rosario Dawson's performance as Ahsoka Tano was amazing, and I think Dave Filoni did a great job in showing so much restraint with, you know, only making mentions of characters like Yoda where it was necessary, because of course Grogu, as we now know him, looks like Yoda, but then not going as far as to directly mention Anakin by name, because that's not relevant to the Mandalorian and wouldn't matter to him, and only mentioning Thrawn when the Mandalorian really wasn't there, and when she was confronting one of Thrawn's disciples in the form of the Magistrate. If you actually are really paying close attention to the overall continuity and the canon of the Mandalorian Season 2, the restraint that has been shown in the story has been really impressive, because everything is naturally flowing, and believe it or not, if you really take an objective look at where the characters are at, the journey they've been on, you really can't say that any of this is shoehorned or fan servicey. It's actually all very naturally flowing. I could break that down more so in another video, I guess, if it becomes more of a topic down the line, which I don't think it will. But I just wanted to close out, guys, this whole vlog, I guess this second half of the vlog now, with my overall thoughts. I cannot believe how close Rosario Dawson looks to Ahsoka. I mean, she has her exact features. It's quite shocking, and it's incredible. So one last thing that I wanted to mention before I go that is really, really shocking is how apparently, and Rosario mentioned this in the article on Vanity Fair, she actually went to a institute for film and theater in California at the same time as Hayden Christensen, after she decided that she wanted to become an actress at around the age of 16, and she shared a class with Hayden Christensen. And then they went on to do a film together in like 2003. So if that's not fate, the Force, God, I don't know what is. So with that, that's going to do it. I highly recommend you check out the new Vanity Fair article. They even mention how all of this really got started with the fan art that was posted and circled by like Boss Logic, for instance, in I believe it was 2017. So highly recommend that article down. I guess I'll link it below if I remember. Thank you guys so much for watching this week. I am getting started on my live action Ahsoka custom now, and it's going to be great. Look out for a video on that maybe tomorrow, and I will see you soon. All right. Take care, everyone, and this is the way.